What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. Today it's going to get good, and that's all I got to say. But this podcast is brought to you by HERR Apparel, so be sure you go check out herappareltx.com. We have a bunch of new merch that is dropping. For right now, my children's line is on HERR Apparel. We are working on their website, which is the reason why I haven't separated, but it will be separated. I've also posted some new items for Penny and Sunny kids, which they're perfect for the summertime. We've got bathing suits coming, so I've got to get it done before the bathing suits come, because then it's kind of like, okay, wait a second here. Make sure you go to HERR Apparel. And then if you are new to my podcast, welcome. And also to all the new people that have come over to the HERR Lounge Discord, welcome to you too as well. I didn't get a chance to say hi. I have not really been on social media a lot lately. There's just way too much going on. And so if you've noticed, I've not posted on my social media. That is why. And or the Discord. I tried to chime in here and there this week, but it was kind of hectic. So let's just jump right into it, because here's your positive quote of the day. When it is time for something new, you will feel it. You will feel a desire to let go, to shed layers, to move, to recreate. You will know because there will be subtle shifts all around you. You will release the old because you are really clearing the path for what's ahead. Trust this process. Know that life does not take from us anything unless there is something else imminently awaiting in its replacement.
Sounds very hopeful.
Yes. And I'm trying to be going into this subject. So although I feel most of the time I still feel like I tiptoe around a lot of politics. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it has to do with my zodiac sign. Like, I don't like to ruffle any feathers.
Sure.
I try to understand everybody's point of view. And I'm just kind of like always like, well, and I genuinely am that way. Like, I don't have to agree with you. I'll hear you out, but it doesn't mean that I agree with you, and I think that that's how we should be, right? Which goes into the whole Matt Walsh conversation. If you don't know who Matt Walsh is, he is somebody who is very open about his religious beliefs, where he stands on marriage, where he stands on what is a woman, hence his documentary. And he just does a very good job of, I'm going to say, explaining where he stands. I feel he's got both feet planted very well as to who he is and who his identity is. Like, he doesn't ever, I don't feel, in my opinion, shift back and forth. Do you get that from him?
Yeah, I can see that. And that goes for most of the Daily Wire crew, I think. They're very firm in what they believe, and they're loud and proud about it in a sense,
yes, right? I agree. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, because with the whole drama with Louder, we don't know. And he said
That's
some
my boy.
things.
You're my boy, Blue.
Okay, so at that point, I kind of felt a certain way about Daily Wire, because I was like, damn, if that's true, we subscribe to the Daily Wire. Right. So I kind of felt like, damn. But nevertheless, if you still feel that there is nothing weird going on in the world, we are not being censored, we are not told what to think, what to do, how to feel, who we should agree with, you're living in a bubble, and/or you're really not doing your own research on what is really happening in the world. This silliness with kids transitioning has got to stop, and more parents have got to stop thinking that it's okay. And if you think that it's okay for your child to transition, I will honestly feel and say that you've got a problem, and you should yourself go get checked as well, because it seems like you've got a mental health issue as well. Your child's not going to commit suicide, because most children at 4 and 5 don't know what committing suicide is. Period.
Yeah, they don't know about not being rude to, people's food or anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are the most, they have no filter. So their mind is innocent, and if they're saying that they're a boy or a girl, I'm not saying dismiss it. I'm saying don't encourage it. Let your child grow up and be whatever. Like, I'm going to give a perfect example. I went to the store with my mom, and Sunny grabs a car and she wants it. It's on the exit. You know how they do at stores, right?
Oh, yeah.
They put all the toys for kids. And my mom's like, no. Don't buy her that. I'm like, why? It's just it was a little bug, a beetle car. And she's like, because she's a girl. You don't want her to start playing with boy toys. I'm like, it's a car. She has no idea that it's for a boy. All she knows is that it's a car that goes back and forth and she's able to push it. That's what she knows, right? Mm-hmm. So kids still don't know at that age technically what belongs to a boy and what belongs to a girl. I get it that we as society have turned things into pink and blue. There's neutral colors, yellow, there's what's the other one? Beige. It's like a neutral color for both genders. You know what I'm saying? I get it. We've done that. But in reality, your kids don't know. You're let's just go with the twins.
Okay.
I'm sure that Brooklyn has played whatever Wes has wanted her to play, and vice versa, because they're siblings and they have no choice, right?
Yes, up until probably maybe like 2 years ago. Like, she'll still play with the cars, the Nerf guns, because honestly, let's be real, those things are fun, right? But he's not going to play with their Barbie dream house. He's like, I'm good.
Exactly. But when they're little, they don't know any difference.
Yeah.
Until they get older, they realize, like, I don't want to play with that Barbie. That's dumb.
Yeah.
But they realize that on their own. You didn't go say, hey, you're not supposed to be playing with that Barbie. What are you doing? Or did you, Rob? I don't know.
I would have. I did.
Let me take that back. But I really feel that we're in a really bad position right now. Not only he was demonetized from YouTube with a very vague explanation. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it inciting violence that they said? Well, didn't they say he was inciting violence?
Yes, because the whole Dylan Mulvaney. How did this fucking... See, here I go, guys. I'm really trying to be a better Christian. It's not funny. I really am. But this is the kind of things that chap my hive.
Didn't he get a Maybelline sponsorship just yesterday?
And a deodorant, native, whatever deodorant.
Oh, that's new. That's new.
And no, it happened the same week that he got Nike, Bud Light, and Native, and Ulta.
But then now he got Maybelline after that.
Oh, there you go.
That's the newest one of them. Maybe it's Maybelline, right? Isn't that the commercial?
Maybe it's not a girl.
Well, easy. That's what Matt Walsh said, and now look at him. Which kind of is a big testament to what Crowder was saying. He's like, you guys are just playing into the hands of these big tech companies, and now look what's happening.
And so, the person went up to him at church in front of... These people are so ballsy. I mean, he says somebody stopped him on his way out of church. Mm-hmm. He didn't think anything of it. He said, because that's mostly the places where people who are his fans will come up to him. But this person then goes to say that he doesn't agree with him and that he's a threat to the church and he shouldn't be attending that church. He didn't say what church. Excuse me. So then he thought his sons had not heard anything. He was hoping that maybe they were just kind of, how kids are, they're not really paying attention. And, son starts crying, like, why did he say that, about you? And he's like, that was it. That was like the final straw for me. He's like, but then it goes even further where he goes the next day to log onto his computer to Twitter. And now he can't log in to his Twitter account. Now his password has been changed. And he's like, holy crap. So then he grabs his phone and now he can't access his phone to call anybody on his team to let him know that his Twitter seems to be hacked. Because his phone has also been hacked.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So he's not able to communicate with anybody at this point because now all of his stuff has been hacked. So I forgot the what? No, it was not the Wire. Is it the what? One of those.
Daily Caller?
No, because that's part of the Wire. No.
Daily Wire is different from Daily Caller.
Okay. Then it might have been them.
The Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson founded way back in the day.
Then it's not that. It was one that's trying to go against him.
Okay.
And I could have sworn he said the Wire.
It might have been the Wire. It might be just
Is this the Wire?
It could
Okay.
Be. It could be.
So I guess that's the one that decided to, one of the reporters, one of the journalists, put out his email and said, hey, why don't you send me over all the DMs and emails and all his stuff, his private stuff, so that we can put it out there. So then one of the little hackers does an interview with him and shows him some, I guess, the only thing they, I guess, had something to hold against him was an email from 10 years ago, which I don't even know that I have emails from 10 years ago in my email, which is interesting, right?
Do you delete emails?
All the time.
I need to. I don't.
All the time. I mean, and I'm not going to lie to you, my junk email, I don't. There's like 20,000 emails in there. But that's the one that I use for like when I don't want you to like bug me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
People are going to know.
I'm not. So I'm just.
We're on Marisol's shit list. She
Yeah.
gives us the junk email.
So that's why I'm not going to give it out. I have the one that I use for booking with Chingo, and then I have my one that I use all the time.
Right.
And so anyway, so I guess there was an email between him and Crowder, the Crowder guy, and from 10 years ago. Then I guess, I don't know what the conversation was about, but it was from 10 years ago. So that's the one they're trying to use in the media,
Okay.
which I don't really know what he said because he didn't get into it, but he said that was the one email that paper and that journalist and the person who interviewed kind of got into it. So anyway, that hacker supposedly said that there was an insider person that was the one that gave him all the access. So FBI is involved, which we all know.
Don't hold your breath.
I'm not going to say anything on here because this does go on YouTube. The police is involved. Their lawyers are involved. There's a whole team of it. And he said, I would hate to be someone who has to do the 1-800 numbers when they've been hacked. He's like, I have access to all these people that can help me. But then there's people who don't have this type of, help or resources.
Yeah.
And they've got to go through call this person, call that person versus my lawyer is calling everybody. All because of an opinion that he has. And that's what my point is that, and here is where it got me. This is so random though. And I know you're going to be like, what? Listen, y'all. I think this is the second time I've seen this documentary only because I forgot it. But the Caitlyn Jenner documentary, I watched it a long time ago when it came out. I think it was on HBO or something like that. It was about when he was Bruce, right? And all his winnings. And when he won the Olympics, the amount of, you guys, you can't see this. Can they see this one?
No.
Okay. The amount of American flags flying everywhere. Everyone's so proud to be an American. I was like, wow, have times changed? Because I think so many people right now are not proud to be an American. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's by design.
I mean,
yeah.
so many people, not so many people. Let me take this back. The media has done an amazing job at making you think that being proud to be an American is a bad thing. How is it that our own country has made you think that our country, you should not be proud to be from here? Can you imagine anybody from another country not being proud of being where they're from? I can't imagine. I think for me, Mexicans are the most patriotic people, right?
Yeah, they're here in the United States repping that flag more than this flag.
That is what I was going to say.
I'm like, you're here for the opportunity. Why aren't you at least like hold them both up at the same time? How about that?
My mom, yesterday, we went out to dinner and we were kind of talking and I said something along the lines of, if this continues this way, I don't want to be here. I said, I don't want to be here. I said, I want us to start looking for a place in Mexico. She goes, are you serious? I said, dead serious. I was like, I want value still in my children. Like, I get it. It's not the same lifestyle, but I feel like our money, which I don't even know at this point if our money will be any good. It's already. My mom said it was at 18 They were taking the dollar for 18 pesos. I think she said it's gone down to like 15, and it hasn't been that for a while. It had been sitting at 17, 18 for a hot minute. So I told my mom, I was like, using US dollars to live over there will be not a problem, you know? But I want for my kids to still see a mom and a dad in a home. There's nothing wrong with those who live with mom and dad, right? Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm saying. And again, those are to my OG people. That's all I got to say.
Sure.
To my OG people who are not out there trying to create this insane agenda. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want my kids to lose family values. Like, I don't want them to think that it's abnormal. You know what I'm saying? To see your dad in your home, or to see your dad and your mom work as a team. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not like one parent has transitioned, you know what I'm saying? And the other parent is going along with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That made me think of last night I was falling asleep starting to read an article about how Mexico wants to join BRICS, which is, you know, with the tensions with the U.S., like, it's basically, if you went to Mexico and moved there, you'd be the enemy, Marisol. You'd be joining the ranks of Russia, India, China, and South Africa and Brazil. They want a whole nother structure of economies that want to come together against the United States and our allies, kind of thing. It's a fascinating time we're living in.
At this point right now, like, I feel like
she wants to go to China.
I would. I feel like I'd be better off over there than here at the rate we're going. The craziness. You think they're allowing that shit over there? These kids transitioning? Hell no. What they're doing over there is making sure that every child that graduates can freaking add 2 + 2 and know that it equals 4. And not 2 + 2 maybe equals 4. What kind of garbage is that?
Yeah. You will be going in a time where they're at least allowing more than one child, and it wasn't when they were making it the one child policy. So, you know, we all have our ups and downs.
I mean, it's out of control. It's out of control. And if you're not paying attention, and if you don't think there's nothing wrong, I know a lot of us, we work and all we worry about is what's going on within our home.
Yeah.
Which I get, because I was that person at one point. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. I used to always say, it doesn't affect me. What do I care? Like, I just need to pay my bills, keep my credit good. You know what I'm saying? Like, those were the things that I was concerned about. I wasn't concerned about anything else because I didn't feel like it mattered to me. I didn't realize how much it does matter to me and how much it does affect our life, from everything, from gas to food prices. If you have a business, even the retail business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, going up in prices because it costs you more. I want you to know the other day, Rob, that I ordered something for the store, like new apparel. Mm-hmm. Do you know that they wanted to charge me shipping almost the same amount of what I was paying for what I was buying? I canceled it.
Damn.
I said,
ain't no way.
I cannot pay you almost the same amount of money that I'm buying all this merchandise for shipping. It's out of control. I can't do that. And here's the thing. Want to know where it was coming from? Which I'm sure they got it from China, right?
Mm-hmm. California?
It was coming from LA.
Yeah. Most of the stuff goes to the ports there. And then
So I was like, it's coming from LA. Why am I still paying this much in shipping? You know, it shouldn't be that much. I'm not buying a container full of merchandise. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally buying a box of merchandise. So I'm not even there to be able to buy a whole shipping container worth of stuff, you know?
Right.
So it was crazy. I canceled that. I'm just over it. I really am. I this morning when I heard Matt Walsh's video, I said, how is no one in the world thinking there's anything crazy happening right now?
You brought up, you were talking about, you know, paying my bills, keeping my credit score good. Did you see the mortgage penalty fee? I didn't read it. I haven't read into it, so I just kind of want to see.
So is that really true?
So it's supposed to be like a mortgage equity, which sounds so dumb saying it out loud. Like, I understand the concept, but they're trying to paint this picture of like, if you've got bad credit, all right, we're going to give you a reduction in your rate, but it's going to be subsidized by the people with the good credit who are going to get a fee for having the better credit. So that's as far as I know.
So it's like, don't pay your bills on time then now.
Well, that's kind of the incentive, isn't it? But ironically, the more that you do that, the more help you're going to later need, and the more you're going to need a big daddy government to come help you out.
They know what they're doing. You know, in Mexico, credit works so much different.
Really? No, I don't know.
So much different. There's actually not credit.
I was going to say, I didn't know there was credit.
Very few people that it works a really interesting way. Luisa was explaining it to me. She goes, why do y'all use credit cards? And I said, well, I don't. I said, I have one credit card and it's just so that I can buy flights and get the points and continue to fly. I said, but honestly, the only reason we got that credit card, want to know why? Is they give you a very hard time to rent a car at the airport. So they charge you an additional, it's almost your holding fee for using a debit card is $500.
Yeah.
Plus whatever you're going to buy, whatever you're paying to rent the car.
That's any rental place, actually.
Unless you have a credit card.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Not just at airports. I mean, at any rental.
No. But here, they do it in... So when you have a credit card, there is a deposit and then what you're going to pay. But this is in addition to your deposit and what you're going to pay, plus another for using a debit card. So you're paying 2 deposits plus what you're going to pay. Because you're using a debit card.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a credit card. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. I have the money there. Wouldn't you rather have someone that has the money in their account?
It is safer though to use credit cards. I'm surprised you don't use credit cards because if you get hacked, you don't want to use your debit card and have your bank account number.
So you can use your debit card as a credit card. So what you do is you don't use it to put in your PIN code.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you do, but that's why there's a Visa logo on it.
Yeah, but there's more. Typically, there's more protections to the credit card, like insurance for stuff if things break. Like there's a lot of perks to it for a lot of people that don't know. Like if something breaks and you don't have any kind of warranty on it, typically if you bought it with a credit card, the credit card company takes care of it. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't care. I just don't like debt. I already been through debt. And so that was my thing, but I had no choice but to get it because renting a car, literally, sometimes we'd have to go like this. It'd go from Hertz, or however you say it. We went from Alamo. We would literally until finally one would say, yeah, sure, we can rent you a car. It would be like that every time. It was so frustrating until finally I said, fine. I guess you're going to make me break down and get a credit card. So we got a credit card. It's a Southwest card.
And for the miles, it totally works.
And so it does pay off, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's not something that I enjoy having.
Oh, so what was Lisa?
She was saying it almost works like a debit card, to be honest with you. So you're not charged interest, and you have to pay it within a certain amount. And then if you don't pay it, they pretty much repo your shit.
Oh, fucking cool.
Yeah. So they don't care how used it is, how long you've had it, they're going to come repo it. And people don't move over there. You know what I'm saying? Because where you buy is where you usually live. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no... is no like, here will, your lease is up. Let's see where else I'm going to go move to, right? So there was nothing out there like that. You know what I'm saying? There's not really that out there. Like my grandparents have had the same property since my grandparents bought it. And my dad would have been, 65.
You know what that doesn't incentivize is enterprise and risk. In Mexico, because then you can't file for bankruptcy. In the United States, one of the things that the founding fathers knew to kind of have like, and I mean like early on in the day, like when he looked at the country, it's like, okay, if we give people the ability to file bankruptcy, they're going to take risk and try to create enterprise. And that's why we become such a powerful economic powerhouse. And in Mexico, of course not. They don't have that kind of a structure.
It's really hard to be an entrepreneur there.
Yeah.
That's why you have more of the carts,
right.
More of that versus brick and mortars. If you have a brick and mortar,
Yeah, it's very hard to be Mark Cuban or Elon Musk
correct.
in Mexico.
Yeah. That's why there's only like 3 rich families in Mexico.
The Pemex, the energy company, and then...
No, there's the art guy, the art museum that's named after him. It's 3 families. I forget what the names are, but there's only pretty much 3 families that run Mexico.
Yeah, the Clintons, the Bush... I'm just kidding.
All right.
Later we're going to find out it's all the same people.
I wouldn't, at this rate, I don't like.
Oh, did you see the Tucker Carlson clip from the Full Send podcast that DC Drano posted by chance?
I did not. It was on silent. Why did I do it on silent?
Bro,
I forgot. I'm
gonna send it because the only reason I bring it up is because you're talking about like you used to not care, you used to just pay attention. You used to be kind of like whatever, I got to take care of what I got to take care of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to hear these words out of Tucker Carlson's mouth was pretty. I mean,
what he said: "Get married, don't care."
Well, no, this is another clip. So here, I'm gonna send it to the group. I sent it to our group. So just open it up on IG and play that for the audience and see if it resonates with you. Like if that's how you felt. So I was like, I haven't opened up this app in days.
Let's see. It's in the group?
Yeah, with me, you and Marissa. Patreon.com/HERR Lounge podcast to get exclusive content every Friday.
My dad was in the media. I've spent my whole life in the media. My dad was in the media. Like, that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like, there's no... Yeah, I know. Because you're younger and smarter and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world? And to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending the Iraq War. Like, I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
What do you think? What is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq War.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets, not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not?
Mm.
So I say, you committed murder or you rigged the last election. Before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these pre-prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control. I'm like, that's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do, though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you, really. Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants. They're their Praetorian Guard. And we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
And that's probably why he got fired.
I was going to say, and now he's fired.
Listen, Tucker Carlson's about to be even richer.
Dude, imagine if him and Crowder teamed up.
He is about to just be richer. That all y'all did, Fox Nation and Fox News, was
Murdochs.
Y'all just made someone richer. You think you...
The meme was like, Bud Light said, XYZ at Fox, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And then right under it.
Yeah, and then...
Well, that same morning, that happens. Like 6 hours later, you see the breaking news. Don Lemon's been...
Lemon, what was that about?
I have no idea. I didn't read that one. I'll just know that that even CNN made a statement later that he was false. Like his accounts were false because he said that his management had hit him up and told him about it. Like nobody told him directly. And
yeah, he said he tweeted and said that no one informed him as long as he's been working there. He said they could have had the decency of letting him know like he was no longer going to be here. And he thanked his colleagues that he had a great time working there and blah, blah, blah. If that's not weird, I don't know what is. But I also think it's a distraction to something else that's happening and we just don't know about.
Is it the aliens?
Everything is a distraction. Everything is a distraction. It's funny. It's like then I saw this one thing where it's like everyone's worried about Tucker Carlson being fired and Don Lemon being fired. And then it said, meanwhile, and it was like this bill that was being passed for war where they were going to keep the soldiers over there for longer. And it was like this crazy thing that they were trying to do. And I was like, we're so worried about the dumbest shit. That's why it makes me so mad. Like, y'all really, okay. So it's like these kid drag queen shows are fucking ridiculous. Like, I just can't handle the world anymore. I just really
you
can't.
Don't say that. Come on, you can.
It
handle
has gone out of control. We have so many idiots running it.
You know how many people rely on somebody like you to actually be able to like keep it together? Because people listening to the podcast, imagine how many moms, how many like stay-at-home moms, how many working moms. I'm sure some dudes listen to, but you know what I mean. They're the five dudes that listen. No, that they're just like, man, like where's the voice to kind of make me wrap or allow me to wrap my brain around this?
Well, I need them to join me in speaking out as well. And that's the other thing. We're all afraid to speak out because heaven forbid.
Yeah.
Because do you think because when my husband did announce who he voted for, our address was put on social media.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't live here, but it was put on social media. It was just a lot. And I don't care what anyone says, but we had shows and people were calling in, trying to protest us having shows there, calling the venue, saying like, y'all better cancel that Trump lover and all kind of stuff. Y'all don't even know the type of shit that we went through. I never discuss it. I never talk about it. And I said this a long time ago. It literally took me one day. At first I was like, oh my God, the world hates me because in a sense, I am like, I don't like to be disliked. I don't think anybody likes to be disliked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's natural, right? But for the most part, I am somebody who genuinely loves people and loves to have relationships. And I love to hear different people's like lifestyles and what they do. I think that's why I'm so obsessed with the soft white underbelly is because I love hearing like shit that happens in other people's lives, how that happened, why they turned out this way. Like, you know, it's insane, right? It literally took for me to say, I was upset at myself for a little while for even like being apologetic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I am apologetic about who I voted for. Make that make sense to me.
That made you feel guilty.
Back then, I didn't give a F who you voted for. I worked in corporate America for years. Do you think that I knew what the person in the cubicle next to me, where they stood politically, religiously, if they were gay, bisexual? I didn't give a F about what they did. Mm-hmm. I came to work. We were friends. We hung out. We did happy hour. We didn't sit there and talk about what's going on in the world. Mm-hmm. But also this craziness was probably not happening.
Not to this level. Not to this level.
And if it was happening, like I said, I didn't care because I was living my best life. You know what I'm saying? I was traveling. I lived nicely. I was getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't care. I didn't feel like any of it affected me because, like, I think Pete asked me one time, he's like, I think it was like in 2008, he's like, when like the economy did another little shift, did that affect you? And I was like, there was a shift in the economy then?
Oh my God,
I didn't feel
hilarious.
it. I had no idea. Because I took care of who?
That's young, yeah, just young life.
I was young. I didn't have no kids.
Yeah.
I didn't have a spouse. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't own a home yet, right?
I didn't own a home yet. Wait, in 2008, no, I didn't own my first rental until 2011 or 12.
Yeah. So again, why would you be paying so much
I didn't
attention?
own my first rental till around then. So I didn't feel it. I didn't know what he was talking about, like the whole crashing of the like real estate crashing. I didn't experience that because I didn't own a home. I rented, you know? So it didn't affect me in any way. You know, I was still living, getting up. I was working, so I don't know. Now it affects me in every way, from school, where my kids will go to school. It affects me on how I feed my kids, our job. I mean, everything. And I think that when you're single and you don't understand, or you're just having to take care of nobody but yourself, I really feel like you just really don't care. There's very few people who really do care. And I think those people are just the ones that attend TPUSA events. Those are the only like on top of it. You know what I'm saying? People, because when I went to that first event, I was in awe at the amount of young people there, so interested. I was talking to who I felt was a little boy to me. He was 22 years old, and he was already like volunteering in campaigns, and he was there, and I was like, "You care? Like at 21? At 21?" Bro, I was like thinking about the next like weekend. Like, what am I? Okay,
You could have been doing both.
I'm sure, but I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? At all. I'm just going to be straight and honest with y'all. I had zero desire to know about anything. I probably barely even voted because I just kind of always felt like my vote didn't matter. I really did. Like, I was like, it doesn't matter. They're going to pick whoever they want to pick. Funny enough, forward all these years, fast forward, that is exactly what is happening.
But in 2016, Donald Trump broke all those narratives that we were led to believe as kids. Like, they're going to, it doesn't matter, it doesn't work. And all of a sudden, like, oh shit, this whole time it had been working. Donald Trump is the president.
And now we just found out that Papa Joe is about to run again.
Yeah. So as a recording of this, we found out this morning, which is fucking crazy. They're going to, okay.
Listen, y'all, I have to record another podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And
we have to give the patrons more
and I'm
time.
just going to have to give it to my public episode. And I'm just going to have to really just let y'all hear me out, because I think I don't let loose like I do with my private episode, with my public episode. One, because it also goes on YouTube, so I have to watch what I say. And two, not everybody that listens is probably on the same page as I am. So you, for whatever reason that you listen to me, I thank you for that. But if you're listening today more than any other day, I really ask that you start to pay attention. If you don't care, please start caring for whatever reason it is, because although you don't think it, buying a house in the future is going to be very hard for you if we don't start putting our foot down. Buying a car, owning is going to be probably out of the question pretty soon here if we don't start, if we don't just start really getting it together as Americans. Like, if we just are going to, I honestly just keep, here I go being a non-Christian again. I just feel like I'm like, everybody's just spreading their butt crack open and just saying, come on, just keep with no grease. I'm taking it.
It's a great way to go out on this public episode, Marisol.
That's kind of how I feel like what's happening to us in the world. Like, we are not putting our foot down. No one is. I ask you to go watch, not for the sake of the transitioning part on Caitlyn Jenner, which was that made me so sad, that part when he transitioned, because he knew that he was dealing with some sort of gender dysphoria, but he tried to fight his way through with being the best athlete he could be. The crazy thing is, I still don't understand really what he is, only because he still likes females.
Yeah.
But
Still has his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he still likes to. He said at one point he stopped playing golf, stopped flying airplanes, like all the things that he stopped doing. He felt like he had to stop just because he had transitioned. Then he said, like, wait a minute, like, why do I have to stop that? Like, there's women that do that too. Like, his whole way of thinking was really interesting. And I just think to myself, like, he didn't say anything happened to him as a child, right? But he was very handsome also. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know if he was trying to keep up with the Kardashians, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with their look, to where he started to do, you could tell when he was on the show where he had already started to do stuff where you can tell the fillers. Like, I don't know if he didn't want to look old or what, or if it was Christian or saying, no, sir, you're not going to look old on our show. You better start doing something too. I don't know what it was, right? But that's when I noticed that he started to kind of look interesting. His face just looked like he had done too much work to try to stay young. And I think when you're an athlete, I don't think that happens to you, because when you're an athlete and you stay active and you continue to do these things, you naturally just kind of stay youthful, because you're obviously your skin's going to obviously sag at some point when you get to 70 something years old, naturally, right? But I feel like athletes kind of age gracefully. And I think it's because they did such a good job of
Totally.
maintaining their body. Another thing, while I was watching him, it was like, I kind of felt like our body is amazing. Our bodies are effing amazing. Like the amount of mental discipline and physical discipline, there were so many of us, including myself.
So what's it called? So people can watch. Is it just called
It's
Bruce?
just called, no, it's called Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh. Okay.
But the Caitlyn is kind of crossed out, or it says Bruce Jenner and it's crossed out, then it's Caitlyn Jenner or something like that. It's on Netflix now, but I didn't watch it on Netflix. I watched it again only because I had said, I saw like a clip of it and I was like, I don't remember that part. So I may have not watched it the first time. But I think people should just watch it for the sake of like remembering what Americans used to be like in those days, because it shows you. And that's where I feel part of where he stands politically comes from.
Make America great again.
Make America great again. And I'm just going to effing say it. Ulta MAGA. That's all I got to say. Peace.